Congratulations, you have made it to the final step. So here is what I would suggest you do to make sure you don't miss this webinar. Step 1, go to your calendar. Step 2, schedule the day and time of this webinar into your calendar. Step 3, leave a note and say what is webinar on the laptop because I can see the screen much better. Definitely, I'm gonna share with you some of the PPT that are so if you can watch on the laptop, you're gonna see the screen much better. So for some of you may feel 3 hours webinar is too long. You have a lot of other important things to do, and let me tell you a quick story about the time when I discovered the #1 secret of being productive. There is an ancient Egyptian story about a building system in this book, and so a long time ago, someone introduced me to read this book about building wealth, and actually I read this book, and I really like one of the story inside this book, and let me tell you a quick story about it. So inside this book, and there is one of the really famous pharaoh and the king of the Egypt, and one day he called his 2 nephews, and them is Azu and Chuma, wanted to build a pyramid and for him, and so as a reward, if the nephew already built a pyramid, and he is going to reward them with a kingship and land and wealth, pretty much anything they can think about it, and in the Egypt at that time. So the 2 nephews were 18 at the time. They said, "Wow, that is great," and so they thought about it. They're young and strong. They have many years to build a pyramid. Then, so both of them are great, to build a pyramid. By the way, and both of them are great. And so both of them are great. And so when they are great, and then the first nephew and the Azu, he just went out there and started building pyramid. He drew a square, and then he just moved the stone, and to the place he drew a square, and he started building the pyramid. He's working hard, and at that time there's no TV, there's no magazine, there's not much, no internet definitely. So the town folks and just watch Azu is hardworking. They claps, Azu, he's gonna be the winner, and because he already built the foundation of the pyramid in about a year. So Azu built the foundation of the pyramid in less than a year, and he's really happy as well. But he's quite confused about his brother, his nephew, Chuma. And Chuma is another guy, and so Chuma at that time, Chuma, he hasn't built anything yet, and his land is empty. So, and Azu, just confused. So what is Chuma doing in his house? So one day, he was curious. He just went to his home, and he saw, Chuma, was playing with some of the just some of the leverageable devices. It's kind of like he's built some of the toy. At the time, Azu sort of this guy is play some of the toy, and by the way, he has no idea about what Chuma is doing. I just ask Chuma, I say, "Hi brother, what are you doing? And you're playing with toys, do you have a death wish? And if you don't build a pyramid, the pharaoh, actually king of the Egypt, is going to cut your head off." And his brother, Chuma just say, "No, I'm building pyramid." I said, "What are you doing? You haven't laid any stone on your pyramid yet." So, and Chuma just say, "I'm going to build a pyramid in my way, and you are going to build a pyramid in your way." And Azu, and he's trying to care about his brother, but his brother just sounds really arrogant. And so Azul just left his brother's house and trying to build a pyramid. And so then but it's getting harder and harder for Azul. Why? It's because on the second layer of the pyramid, and I'm sure you know, and you have to push the stone on the top, on the second layer of the pyramid. And Azul realized, he's not strong enough. He need to build a muscle. And so and he was looking for a stronger man in the Egypt. Actually found one. He found the strongest man in the Egypt, and his name is Bendu. And Bendu is the strongest man in the Egypt. And so he hired Bendu as a personal trainer at the time. And so Bendu, told him and to eat this kind of diet, and it's really weird diet by the way at that time. And also to do this kind of exercise to build a muscle. So Azul, just become bulky now. He built such muscle. He's trying to push the heavy stone on the second layer of the pyramid, and so that's what Azul, doing. He becomes stronger, and stronger, and building it. After 3 years, Azul, built another, couple layers, and so Azul, realized, I think the pyramid is gonna taking another 30 years to finish, because of the pace. It doesn't matter how hard he train, it's gonna take another 30 years. But he's happy. Why? Because he saw his brother, his nephew, and Chuma. That guy, hasn't laid any stone on his land yet. So Azul sort of, I already far surpass my brother, and even if it's gonna take me another 30 years, but I'm happy because my brother, he has to start from scratch. That's what he thought. And so one day, once Azul just finished the, push the heavy stone on the pyramid, and then he hears some of the like an earthquake noisy, and it's kind of some of the really noisy, and he saw it, and Chuma just come out from his house with some of the weird machine, and so this is Azul. Azul trying to build a pyramid using his muscle and physical energy, and he's used to this. And I'm going to talk about it. And Chuma come out, spend 3 years, and build a machine, and 5 years building a pyramid using a machine. So Chuma come out with this kind of machine, and then he's using kind of a rope, to just left the heavy stone on the pyramid. And so Chuma build the first layer in less than a week. It took the Azul about 1 year to build the first layer of the pyramid, but took the Chuma about 1 week. And Chuma just wow. Now Azul was destroyed. And then a second layer is faster. Second layer, it only took the Chuma about less than 30 days to build a second layer of the pyramid. And because he has kind of this machine, and so but it took the Azul about 3 years to build a second layer, and also he has to pay a lot of money to the Bendu, the personal trainer. So Azul was destroyed. He said at that time, he thought about it. I must become stronger. I must build a bigger muscle, so I can, move a bigger stone and move the stone faster. So he did not, nerf on Chuma to build the machine. He's keeping working harder with his muscle. He's keeping train with Bendu to build a bigger and stronger muscle. And so actually, Chuma spent 3 years on building a machine and 5 years building a pyramid. Used the machine, and 8 years in total. He finished the machine. I finished the pyramid, and he showed the king of the Egypt. The king of the Egypt was really happy, and he just rewarded him and the kingship, the land, the wealth, all of the naturally. And so Chuma living a very happy life, and he never have to work again. He become one of the Egypt most innovative person in the history. And let's look back to Azu. And Azu, was trying to build a pyramid using his muscle and physical energy. He was exhausted to death and end. Actually, Azu didn't finish the pyramid because he was trained too hard. He was working too hard, and he was broke. And because he paid way too much money to Bennu, and so he never finished the pyramid. Actually, he died on the pyramid, and there are still few more layers and for him to build it. So he never finished the pyramid. And so the reason why I use a story to tell you most of real estate agents are working way too hard, and because you don't have a real estate lead system, and you don't have a real estate lead system, then you have to work too hard to get leads. You must build a real estate lead system like Chuma, build a machine so the machine can help him build a pyramid. So, and schedule at least 3 hours of your time to watch this webinar if you want to get worth reward like Chuma get in business without working till death on pyramid like Azu. And I guarantee, it's gonna worth of your time, because the longer you wait, the harder it get. And see you on the webinar.